guess a recap from last weekend. Great to get 2 on the road. I think anytime you can get a road sweep in the Big Sky, you got to come home pretty content. I think the way we went about it was really pleasing as well. I mean, taking care of Idaho in 3 and Eastern Washington in 4. I think it was really interesting playing those 2 teams. Obviously, they haven't had a lot of winning yet in the conference, particularly this year. But my impression of them watching them live is they're 2 very good volleyball teams, and they definitely challenged us in different ways. And it's like any team, you go through your growing pains, and those 2 teams are in those growing pains right now a little bit, but still really high level of competition and a lot of fun. So just thrilled to come home with 2 wins, and now we're focused on, like we said, Sacramento on Thursday at 7 o'clock, and then Portland State at noon on Saturday, which is a little bit of a change up for us.
Obviously, like Sacramento State was pretty good the last couple of years, and then recently you've been able to kind of get to their level recently, and then even a Portland State, I mean, they were pretty solid when you first kind of took over the head coaching job. Just what do you think of them as they get here and just trying to kind of maintain where you're at in the standings right now?
Yeah, like we would like to jump over Portland State for sure, because I think we're tied right now at 4-2. Does that sound right?
Or they have 1 loss.
They have 1 loss. Okay, so we need to get them with that. But yeah, look, I think what I've noticed about the Big Sky as a conference as a whole is that often the teams who are senior heavy do the best. And I think you've seen that over the years. I think when Portland State's been at the top of the league, they've been senior heavy. When Idaho was at the top of the league a couple of years ago, they were senior heavy. Weber State right now, senior heavy. And I think that's the advantage we have, is we're pretty young still, but we're right there. And Sac State's been the same way. Looking at them on film, it's going to be a tough weekend. I got a lot of respect for what Ruben does at Sac State, and he's got a lot of talent on the floor, and then equally with what Michael does at Portland State. So, it's going to be a really challenging weekend, but looking to go out and get a couple of wins and continue to advance up the standings there.
Who's been most impressive so far? Who's on your team, players that have really stood out?
Yeah, most impressive. I think for different reasons. I think Emma Pence, obviously, for her blocking, is just such a solid thing that she does every night, and we had a bit of a hiccup against Idaho that first set. We gave them 6. They had 6 blocks on us in the first set. We're like, holy, we're going to be in trouble if they keep that up. And I think they ended up with only a couple more after that, but really challenged Pence. I was like, you're going to let someone have 6 blocks on us and you're not going to get any? And she went out and got her own the next couple of sets. So, Emma Pence stands out for sure. I think Kira Thompson's just such a consistent performer. And Hannah Scott's probably having the most mature season of her career so far. So just in terms of being her all-round game. So I'd point to those 3 particularly, and then you've got the young guns, with Audrey and JoJo or Jordan Raddick and Macy stepping up in big ways as well. So it's really a team effort. I think it's often, we want to point to 1 or 2 athletes of being the standouts, and we can't do it with 1 or 2 athletes. We've got a complete team effort there. So as much as I'd like to point to 1, it's probably point to most of them, if not all of them.
Well, and I'm going to point back to 1 here, but Emma, I know she was right up there in the nation. I mean, including the Pac-12 schools and all that, but with the blocks.
Yeah.
Or at least the percentage. Just how cool is that to see just somebody on your team, in the national
rankings? Yeah. I mean, we had it a couple of years ago with Rizzo, our libero, a couple of years ago, and it's really it sets this. When Rizzo did it, it kind of set the stage for everyone to realize they can do it. And now Emma Pence is recreating that, and I think again, it's just setting a standard of like, hey, we can be relevant on the national level, and we do things here. We train really well. My belief is we have one of the best training gyms in the country in terms of we get talent in the gym, then we train them up. And I think the way Emma has embraced the training, has embraced the different tactical and technical elements of blocking particularly. She's really dove into it and has a hunger and a thirst for it. And that really sets the blueprint for all of us about how to be great. And I think, I'll point back to a couple of years ago with Alyssa Rizzo. Really, she was the one who set the stage for that. And I think Emma's bought into that, seen it, bought into it, and really benefiting from it now.
Coach, what has Kira done week in and week out that's made her so consistent on game days?
Yeah, she works her tail off like nothing else. I mean, we really emphasize watching film. We really emphasize taking care of your body. We really emphasize, doing the extra little things. And she's a team captain for a reason. She does all those things at a high level. She was in my office for film first thing this morning. She's been in Cole's office for film. The different areas of responsibility she has, and she's always bugging Taylor about being in the gym more. And hey, how can I get extra? How can I be better at this? How can I be better at that? And again, it's just that standard of never being satisfied. And pursuing excellence. And that's what leads to her consistency. So when we get freshmen in, they're all like, oh, Kira's so good. And I was like, yeah, watch what she does to figure out why she's so good. She's physically gifted, but so are all the recruits we bring in. What is she doing to give herself the edge? And it's those little things. She never lets a nickel become an injury. She never lets one bad performance flow into two. It's pretty impressive.
This weekend you hit the official midway point in the Big Sky Conference schedule standpoint. Just what's the thing that you need to see from your team to be able to be at your best when that Big Sky tournament comes around? Well, I guess what are you looking for here in the next few weeks?
Yeah, continued refinement and growth. I mean, that's been the story of the whole season so far. And we're looking to peak, coming late October, early November, looking to start to hit our stride there. And I truly believe we're on the right path. I think we've got some offensive things starting to click. Defensively, we've found our identity, which is really nice. I think we need to tidy up our serve receive. I think that's probably the biggest thing I'll point to is if we can really nail down our serve receive. And I'm not worried about it. A lot of it's just communication. And so that's something that we can control. It's not a lack of talent or size or skill. It's a communication thing. So we're just really looking to put our stamp on that area of the game. And other than that, I'm pretty happy with the direction we're headed.